Neo, are there any other frames other than low plat sellers you would suggest holding on to going into crossplay? Binge your channel, and this is still one of my biggest questions. Are there any frames other than low plat sellers you would suggest holding on to into crossplay? Mesa. I would suggest holding on to Mesa, and here's why. Because okay. Actually, I could I'll start drawing this, but I don't want to miss whatever the reward is here. So, all right, I'm drawing a timeline. And we're going to say this is now, let's say January. Or that. Okay. Now, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. I don't know how that made sense, but I'm trying to 4 quarters the year. So ignore all that shit. But now, January, April, May, basically every 3 months. Okay, is what I'm trying to explain here. So whether I fucked it up or not, shut the fuck up and just listen to what I'm saying. And I'm not talking to you, the person that asked the question. I'm not saying this to you. I meant that in general. I do that a lot. I speak in general a lot. For the few people that have like little background, just shut up and listen. At 3 month intervals, let's say, if how do I word this? This is what Mesa's price should be doing. Let's say right now Mesa is, do we want the actual value of Mesa? Let's do it. And this is only according to the Warframe market. This isn't according to what I actually think she's worth. Which, yes, I actually think Mesa's worth 150 now. The market will say is at 100. Okay, can we agree? Mesa, 1 for 95, 1 for 99, and then we have 100, all these hundreds. Okay, Mesa Prime set. So we'll say 100 for Mesa Prime set right now. I think that's fair. So, 100 for Mesa. Okay? A year from now, Mesa should be a whole 200 plat more. Okay? If crossplay happens here, I'll draw this with a different color. If crossplay happens here, whatever this Mesa set would have gone up to is going to take a dip. If crossplay would have happened here, whatever it was at, it's going to take a dip. If crossplay would have happened here, whatever it was at would have taken a dip. If crossplay happens here, whatever Mesa set was at is taking a dip. Whatever happens, it's taking a dip. But at the end of the day, the Mesa set is going to come eventually back up to at least 200 plat. Cross-platform or not, mark my words, this Mesa set is absolutely going to be at least 200 platinum after this crossplay thing pans itself out. After all is said and done. Now, how much longer is crossplay going to go on for? How long is the market going to be fucked up for? Until it rebalances itself out and then everything starts to go back up? I don't know. This has never ever happened before in Warframe. So, I have no fucking idea. There's no way to gauge it. If I had to think about the human psychology though, and the rate in which players join and then leave the game, which I would say the average player probably plays this game anywhere approximately 2 to 3 months before they kind of get a little like staled out, felt like they've seen enough, and then another game distracts them and they get into that. That is what I think the average player is doing. That doesn't mean they won't come back and get back into the game. It just means 2 to 3 months of playing this game, and then I think the average player has found another game to get distracted with before they'll come back another 2 to 3 months later to Warframe. Or another year, or 3, or 5, whatever, however many fucking long, but they'll be back. The game's always getting better, yada, yada, yada. So, based off of human psychology, how long do I think the fuck up is going to happen where everything just takes a shit and then needs to rebalance it out? I think best case scenario, 3 months before the shit fixes itself. And I would be absolutely shocked and surprised as fuck if the game if crossplay happened, the market took its decline, every price and everything just dropped, and then 3 months later it's back to normal. I would be abso-fucking-lutely shocked if it was only 3 months before shit got like normal again. And And
if it would go any longer, it will only be because of PlayStation users, honestly.
on the other side of things, I would be, hello DJ. On the other side of things, I would be even more shocked if it was more than a year and a half it took it to correct itself. I personally expect the market to maybe be fucked up for like, what's the average cycle of a Warframe that gets introduced to the game?
9 months, is it, or is it 6?
18 months. Okay.
Oh.
If this shit corrects itself in 3 months, I'm in shock. And that's great. That's amazing. I'm absolutely shocked, but that's amazing. If let's say on the other hand, it's a full 18 months, that's a year and a half. A year and a half is plenty of time for the cycle of players to come in and out of the game. Like the average player to keep coming in and out of the game. So you got to look at it like this. This is the average player coming in and out of the game, or the amount of people that are going to be brand new to Warframe, right? So let's cut them out of here. And what are we looking at? We're cutting off the fluff of all the average players. The below this line, this is a fat amount of people that join the game and then leave. And then they'll come back later, but they join the game, they leave. But above this line, we've only got, I don't know, a skinny line of people that are hanging out and then they stay. You just do it like this. They have a skinny line of people hanging out and then they'll stay. And then another skinny line of people for this batch come around and then they stay. And then a skinny batch stays. Skinny batch stays. Like, you guys get what I'm saying? I think the bulk of every bump to the game, every push to the game where like Warframe does marketing for it and gets a bunch of people in, most people are playing the game for X amount of time and then they're fucking off. Whereas there's very few people that will stick around and actually continue to play it like the crazy person I am for all this fucking time for 6.5 years straight. Very few people are not going to take breaks for a long time and then come back to it. So that being said, this has something to do with how long it's going to take the game to correct itself, and I have no idea. DE isn't really big on sharing stats like that, nor do I think it really, I don't think they need to be. It's really kind of like their personal business. But at the end of the day, that's why I have no idea. I know this question got a lot more in depth than you probably thought it would, but what do I think? Mesa, let me do it like this. That's terrible writing. Here, how about this? Just text it out.
I would say interject.
Mesa,
I would say you.
Equinox, Wukong. All these three. And I don't know if you guys know, but Mesa, Equinox, Wukong, all one after the other. It's just the time frame that they were vaulted and the sheer coincidence that they're all fucking great frames. So this is just coincidence that they're all great frames, but these three all were one after the other, and then they announced crossplay is going to happen. They say it's going to happen within the next, you know, like, I don't know, maybe the next year or so or whatever. But whenever crossplay does happen, all these frames are going to take a dump in price, but they'll eventually go back up. And back to this whole drawing here, if the dip happens here, then it might take, I don't know, an extra 3 to 18 months for fucking Mesa to balance out. If the dip happens here, still an extra 3 to 18 months. If the dip happens here, still an extra 3 to 18 months for Mesa, Equinox, and Wukong to go back up in price. But to answer your question, these 3 frames. Okay, great. Next question. Somebody asked me a question that has a shorter answer.
Well, I was going to elaborate because, in a sense, you're not wrong. But personally, I don't even think it would take 18 months. Like how you were explaining how people are in and out. The people who stay will be the ones who ultimately will bring the price back.
Yes. I didn't touch on that, but exactly. When the price takes a shit, because it most likely will, the game has just become a buyer's market. That is when you buy as much as you possibly can, which is why I already said in a video, with the knowledge of cross-trade that's gonna become a thing, now is when you sell your shit and make as much platinum as you can. You stock up as much platinum as you possibly can, and when cross-trade happens, and everybody's selling their shit for like pennies on the dime, or the dollar or whatever, that's when you're buying all that shit. Just stock up on as much as you fucking can.
Yeah, Rough. Because you got to think about it, because when it does cross-platform, expect DE to bring out either a 2-week or 30-day booster for the launch of it being completely crossplay in all type of directions. And honestly, they'll probably also have cross save. So if you want to go onto your PC and play on your PS4 account, it'll be a thing. It's the matter of fact of after that 30 days is when we will be able to start bringing the prices back, because everyone's going to stick around for the booster. It's when that booster's gone, people are going to realize, oh, it's somewhat of a grind. They don't want to deal with it. They'll leave and they'll be back in 2-3 months when they drop another frame or more content. And that time, it will be the crucial time to bring prices back. At least not to where they are, but higher to where they drop down to.